What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to be showing you at the beginning of how to make Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 in Minecraft. This is part 1, and this will be split up into segments within the parts. It's not going to change the part number. It'll just mean that essentially there will be breaks between the amounts of stuff that we do. I'm just going to show you the whole first segment in this part. There is no grid space or anything because this map is way too freaking big for that. If you have a amount of space you need, maybe don't, actually. That might be a smarter idea because you'll see this map gets really big. But as I mentioned, I don't know if I said it, I'm only doing the first segment. Not everything is block for block, like detailing and texture will not be, but really all the important stuff will be. And yeah, I don't really have a ton else to say. I do have to keep rambling because we're not even close to the game station room. I will go over distance down you need, but not distance up. It's not that high, though, really. Just clip through the wall, yeah, perfect. But yeah, overall this will definitely be one of the most difficult tutorials I've ever made. So yeah, you should ideally be prepared for it in that sense because, oh my god, like, this is just the first bit. I'm deeming it as a fifth of the map. And we haven't even seen the game station room yet. Here it is coming up. But yeah, anyway, with that being said, enjoy the tutorial, and yeah, I will catch you on the flip side. So before we actually start anything, I want to talk about what you need. So you need specifically, oh my god, what is going on with my wire? You need specifically, oh look, it's me in the corner, I forgot that I would be there. You need just part 10 of chapter 1 specifically. If it's connected to the main thing, that is fine, it doesn't particularly matter. Just if it's not, you should make the entirety and then close off this door. I won't do that in the tutorial because I don't actually have the staircase in the segment that I copied. But yeah, now I'll talk about how much space you need down. From the lowest room here, this I guess middle one, you need going down. I have a sign down here, hold on. You need 65 blocks going down. This should be final. Now I'm not finished the map, so it could potentially be lower, but I don't think it is because there is a room in PJ Pugga pillars or statues that is the lowest right now, and it seems like you just keep going up after that. It's long, or as far as what I can remember at least. The other thing is if you're like, I can't have that many blocks down, you do need at least 20. There will be a point that I will talk about where you need, or you can have a teleport. You see it's that black box right there, I think. I guess this room hangs lower, but still, regardless, it is 20. So, yeah, just make part 10, and then if you have it or don't, whatever, come back, and we can start. So if you have made part 10, it should look something like this, except you will have a staircase, obviously, on that side, and then there's the poppy room over there. And so there is one thing we want to do, and we want to focus on this door right here. It should be half covered up. You want to essentially, if you're looking at it, you'll end up taking the dark oak plank, kind of, I think it's a dresser or something, and you will break the left row along with the top row of it to create this 3x2. You'll then just extend it to the right with 2 more rows of dark oak planks. You'll then end up breaking the right half of the doorway and moving these walls just behind the original ones to here. If you have black concrete like I do, you will just want to punch it all out because it's going to be in our way. And then that will be all we need to do to actually modify this because everything else stays the same. Again, the doorway that would be up that way where the staircase is, you would want to block off the same way we kind of just, I guess, inverse of what we did to this one. So we will start with the walls. I did not apparently give myself night vision. Oh, that's because I don't have operator. That's really awesome. So smart. So you want to start off by getting out for the hallway itself. Cyan concrete, yellow terracotta, red concrete, yellow concrete, smooth coarse blocks, and we'll go andesite walls, diorite walls, polished diorite, and like one more material. Maybe we'll go with the polished diorite stairs. No, I think we'll wait on that actually. You could, in theory, you could get a light blue concrete. Yeah, that actually might be smart. We do need light blue. I literally completely forgot about that. So we're going to do this unlike we did chapter 1, where we essentially built up a block. We're going to build in line with the floor here. So if you start from the little spruce plank on either side of the doorway here. You should be this one. You want to, if you're looking back into the room, you'll go left with a cyan concrete, yellow terracotta, and then I guess another yellow terracotta. On the opposite side, you'll do the opposite, so you'll go right and place a yellow terracotta and then 2 cyan concrete. I would advise bringing each of those blocks just out by 1 so they stick out a block. The left and the right work different from here. We're going to start with the left, and hold on, I need my notes for this. You want to go back on the left side, and you want to, from the cyan concrete, go back and place 4 light blue concrete, a cyan, and then 9 light blue concrete, a yellow, 5 light blue, a cyan, and then 6 light blue, 2 polished diorite, 7 light blue, a cyan, or sorry, a yellow this time, a yellow terracotta, then 5 light blue, 2 yellow concrete, 8 light blue concrete, and then we'll end with a cyan concrete. Doesn't make sense right now, but it will later, I swear. If you start from the yellow terracotta here on the opposite side, you're going to go back and do a fairly similar thing. We're just going to be switching some blocks. So you're going to go back this time with 4 red concrete, yellow terracotta, 7 red concrete, and then 3 smooth quartz blocks. 5 red concrete, a yellow terracotta. You'll then place 6 red concrete beyond this yellow, 2 polished diorite, 7 red concrete, counting is so hard, and then a cyan concrete, then 15 red concrete, and then a yellow terracotta at the end. Each of the yellow terracottas and cyan concretes can be brought just inward by 1. This will help us later. It will be kind of annoying when we fill in the floor, but it's fine. Hopefully everyone is having a good day or night. I am for the most part. You should end up with this. The backmost ones at the end of the hallway, I'll actually bring in an additional 1 just because. And then I would advise bringing everything here up with an additional block except for the polished diorite. So again, just kind of, we're filling in the floor in line with the bottom row, unlike Chapter 1. This is more so in line with the security breach lobby, because I felt like that one made more sense, rather than making you guys go through all the extra agony. Wherever the polished diorite is, by the way, just leave open. We'll worry about it in a second. Yeah. It feels great to start this. This is totally going to be an easy tutorial with 0 complications. No, it'll be a lot of parts. I will talk about detailing as well more so later, but essentially, I don't know, I might have said it in the intro. I probably will actually have said it in the intro, never mind. Although I'll talk about it again as we're filling in the floor. So in line with the bottom row, you'll just fill in everything with polished diorite. You can texture the floor with the blocks if you want right now. That might not be a terrible idea. I'll explain that more in a second once I ramble. And again, you'll just like stop in the middle of the door at the back here. Those 2 blocks. So essentially, the texturing that is important, there are certain areas where I know the texturing is like that in the game. If I remember that, then I will actually build it block for block. However, like the weathering on the walls and stuff, I'm not going to. I'll tell you the blocks you need, and I'll tell you kind of how I did it, and then show you the original build, but I'm not going to go through the entire effort of, you know, showing you the exact block for block, because that would just take way too long. And the texturing isn't really necessary anyway. It's kind of a personal thing. So we can fill up our pillars, I guess. That makes the most sense. We'll start with the back one, because the back one is weird. The back and the front one specifically are very strange. If you start with the back one, you'll just take the 2 yellow and cyan that stick. And I guess you can include the one in line with the wall as well. It doesn't really matter, though. And you'll bring them each up with just 2 of the same block. You'll then place 2 red concrete on top of that, and then connect the top row of red concrete across the center. It'll just give you a basic 2x4 doorway, and I would advise bringing that entire thing also back a row. I'm going to do all 3 rows because I just feel like it makes more sense since we, you know, made all 3, although only 2 will be visible. Just the 3rd one will help us build off of it later. Nice. Now the front one is also very strange. Head to the front, and you want to start with the cyan and the yellow on either side of the doorway itself, and you'll just bring them up with 2 of their respective block. You'll then go up with 2 red concrete and connect the red across the top there. Bring the yellow on the, if you're looking at it, it'll be the left side, just up by 4, so it's the same height as the red. And then the cyan on the right can be brought up by 5. Extend that cyan row across the top, an additional, or just across the whole top, I guess. And then place a row of yellow terracotta on top. And that's all you need. Just for the funnies, you want to place a row of polished diorite also on top. That'll be more important later, but might as well. Yeah, it's weird, but that's how it is. So the rest are fairly simple. You're just taking each cyan concrete and yellow terracotta and extending them up by 3. And we'll just start with this. Each archway is the same. Again, it's just little rows that stick out. And if you want to do the ones in the walls, you can. You don't have to. It doesn't really matter that much. But yeah. And then you'll end up placing 3 rows of red concrete on top of those. If I can remember to count to 3. I almost just, like, did 4 instead there. Would have been unfortunate. And so what you want to do is you want to connect the top row of red across the, well, top. This will unfortunately just give you rectangles, and we're not a fan of rectangles in this game, even though it's a block game. So you'll place an additional red concrete in each top corner to create a little bit more of an arch. And now you have this. That actually looks kind of cool, just like as is. Anyway, I'm totally getting sidetracked. Let's do the pixel art and the doorways and stuff, and then we can kind of focus on the other things. So we'll start with the pixel art on the left. There's 2 on either wall, and well, one of them is fairly notable. The other one is not. The left side is notable, the right is not, I should say. So you want to start from this yellow concrete, and you want to look towards the wall. You'll bring it up with 2 light blue, and then go left by 2. Extend this light blue here down with a yellow concrete. And then take the furthest right light blue and extend it up 1. Right 1, and then right with a yellow. Take the light blue you brought right by 1 and extend it up by 2. Extend the top one right by 1 and then extend the top 2 each left by 1 each. This light blue here, this kind of bottom left of his head is what it would be. You'll bring left with a yellow as well. This is, I want to say it's Huggy, but it might not be Huggy. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it is, because what else would be yellow and light blue? Anyway, you want to head to the other row of 2 yellow here on this wall, and you'll take the leftmost one and extend it up by 2 with light blue. Then go right with a yellow. It will all be concrete, by the way, at least on this side. I think the other it is terracotta. No, it is concrete. Never mind. You'll then go up from that yellow with a light blue, yellow, and then left with 2 light blue. This leftmost light blue will be brought both up and down by 1. He's like kind of like turned to this, or I guess tilted. His head is at a 90-degree angle. Like this is the top of his head right here. Just so you're aware. We'll start with the back panel on the opposite side, and we can do Bron, which I don't know what this is. So if you, how are we going to use this? We're going to take the same, like the row of 2 light blue on Huggy, just from the, I guess, left yellow from his side, and you'll trace it across. And going up here, you'll place 2 red. Then go left with a yellow, and extend it up 2, left 1, and then left with a red. You'll then go down diagonally right with a red, and down by 2. On that row of 3 red, you'll take the middle and extend it left 1, and then down diagonally left by 1. The other one is a little bit easier to pinpoint because it's where the smooth quartz is, like, chipping away at the red paint here. It's just this little row of 3. You'll take either end of the row of 3 and place a red on top. Extend the right red up with 2 yellow, and then a red. Then that top red can be brought right by 1. The left red will be brought up by 1, and then from this top one, you'll go both left and right with a red. I love how I inverted that. And then you'll take the left one and extend it up by 2. There's your little bron. One of your little brons. Let's make the doorways because these will be important for the next step. If you, on either side, take the polished diorite in the wall that I told you to just not worry about, you'll place andesite walls on top, just one per block. You'll then place 2 diorite walls, and that's pretty much it. One of these is a stairway, and one of these is a bay. Bay 09 sounds familiar for some reason. I don't know, maybe it'll come up later again, and I just forget. We have a pattern to do now, and it's a little bit of a weird one, but you're gonna have to bear with me. So if you head to the, we're gonna look at the red concrete side, which is the right. If you start from the front and go back, you'll place a red, then 3 smooth quartz. Skip over the yellow and place another smooth quartz, and then 5 red. Then it'll be essentially a smooth quartz on either side of these reds, so it'll be like smooth quartz, then you'll skip, smooth quartz, skip, smooth quartz, and then you'll place 4 red at the end here. On the other side of the yellow, you'll place 2 smooth quartz, and then 4 red. The end 2 red can be brought up an additional 1. Not really important yet, but, well, it's just we might as well do it. Then on the back side of this doorway, you'll go back with 5 red, 2 smooth quartz, skip over the cyan, smooth quartz, 3 red, and then you'll do the same thing you did before. You'll have a smooth quartz kind of surrounding these little 1 diagonal reds on the bottom, and then you'll end with 4 red at the, well, end. The other side is block for block, exactly the same, just with light blue instead of smooth, or instead of red concrete, sorry. So you're just kind of look over and see. If you have, like, the 1 diagonals where the brawn is, just kind of ignore it. And this Huggy, what happens with this Huggy? Okay, yeah, so there is, yeah, no, never mind, that is the same. Just make sure you don't include the brawn pixel art in the block for blocking. That's a sentence, I guess. And you'll end up with this. Essentially, the pixel art and these, like, waves will never touch. It'll look like this. Pretty nice. Now, you can just take any block, really, that isn't affected by pixel art in any way, and what you can do, and I guess, well, that are, you know, at the lower row. We don't want to include the 1 row that's a little bit taller, because that'll obviously mess us up. But you want to go up from this point with 9 rows of smooth quartz. Or I guess you can just count up by 9 like so. You should be 4 taller than the archways, like so. And then you just want to go around the entire hallway to this height with these smooth quartz. The front and back walls, there are obviously a little bit of an exception here. The front is kind of fairly easy. Essentially, where you have this row of polished diorite, you'll just go an additional row forward, and then you'll cross just kind of outside of it. So you're 1 block further back than the archway. On the back wall, or I guess the way that we're headed, the smooth quartz will just be directly on top of the archway, the first row of it, which is just right here, and it'll be like 4 rows, maybe? Actually, I can figure it out. 5, 6, 7, is it 9? I think it was 9. Something like that. But yeah, you just want to fill all of this up. I might as well not time-lapse this. I don't really feel like there's much of a point to time-lapsing in a situation like this. But yeah, this hallway is fairly simple. This one doesn't really have any detailing. There's kind of one thing. A lot of the, like, again, detailing like that is going to be, I guess, subjective to what you want to do with it, but it does depend. Definitely. This one has a different kind of texturing, which you'll notice changes later. I have a couple of designs, light designs and stuff, that you will notice change. If you want to keep them consistent, you absolutely can. Just sometimes I feel like it makes more sense to do one or the other, or sometimes I just realize that one design sucks and I don't bother to change the other ones. But it is definitely up to you. Like, I know this hallway uses dark oak trapdoors around the sea lanterns, and later I use spruce trapdoors, and sometimes I don't even use sea lanterns. You'll see what I mean. It's like a lever end rod thing that I ended up, I think, using Finding Frankie first, which is interesting. But also some of the lights are, like, slanted in certain areas, so yeah, you kind of have to do the sea lanterns for that. It is up to you what you decide to do with that, or how you feel like that is important. For me, it's not really a huge deal. I mean, whatever. Almost there. But yeah, this will definitely be, I think it'll go down as the hardest tutorial I've made. Yeah, I don't even think it's really close. Security Breach Lobby was fun, for sure, and definitely difficult, but I feel like this one just laughs in that one's face, you know? Seeing as how we'll probably hit the same amount of parts before we're finished the game station room, and the game station room is, like, extremely early in the chapter. That's like the introduction to the chapter, practically. Like, hey guys, here's the big room you're gonna spend your days in, now have fun. Anyway, you should end up with this. A block above the top row of the walls, you'll fill in the ceiling with smooth quartz right here. Yeah. And I'm just going to use the /fill command because I do want to try to push this along a little bit to make the time quicker. Slightly. I don't feel like time-lapsing everything, so, you know, I'll give you one every here and there. You should end up with this. I would recommend filling in your ceiling with polished diorite. Now this becomes weird because, as I mentioned, there are holes in this ceiling that we're going to punch out at random, and there's a lot of them. So you can absolutely wait to do this, we just will need to mark things out, so I feel like it's better to fill it all in, and then go back and break in those holes later, because they're not really a huge deal. It's whatever. But yeah, let me not get stuck up here. Perfect. Ah, I missed it a little bit, actually. You should have this. Make sure you do go above the archways as well. That is important for, again, when we have to break through. Now might be a good time to texture your floor. If you are unfamiliar with the texturing of the floor, it's just kind of dotting around random red concrete, light blue concretes, and yellow terracottas. It is kind of, I think, better in certain areas to have multiple colors colliding. Like, for example, you see I have, like, some red concrete here. I'll put a yellow there, and maybe, like, a light blue here, and, like, there or something. Just kind of create these shapes. It is a lot of it absolutely on the original build. And I kind of just go for whatever I feel like it. Obviously, because Chapter 1, we kind of tended to avoid that. I don't want to go too crazy with it, but you'll see later it definitely gets a little bit more interesting. Especially in the barrier cart corridors area, which is actually what it's called. But beyond Whack-A-Wuggy. God, that feels so far away. In that area, you will definitely notice we end up doing more of it bunched together, but there is a different reason behind that, kind of. But you'll see when we get there. Anyway, just something like that. I definitely have not enough. I would add more than what I have, but kind of just go until you feel like you're done. No particular amount you need. I would recommend clearing your inventory, and we can actually, I think, finish this hallway. So get out a birch, or a couple of birch signs. Nether brick fence. Sea lanterns. Dark oak trap doors. And then, again, the polished diorite stairs. It might be logical to just grab normal polished diorite as well, but it's not necessarily required. So we'll start with the ceiling lights. The first area, which is where you have the first Wuggy and Brawn pixel art, you want to be in line with kind of the center of, I guess not the center of Huggy. Well, in theory it is, I suppose. It's this row right here. If you look at Brawn, it is between his legs, kind of, this red concrete. If you trace it up to the ceiling, you'll place a nether brick fence 1 block in from either wall, and they should be 2 blocks away from each other. Place a sea lantern underneath each and then connect them together and surround that in dark oak trap doors that will all open up towards these sea lanterns to just cover these sides. That's not great. I hate placing them against the wall. What? I placed the first one so easy, and then that one I just couldn't. You should have that. The next panel is a little bit different. If you head back to where the doors are, you'll look at the left door, and specifically the back half of that doorway. And again, 1 block in, you'll place a nether brick fence with a sea lantern underneath. Except this time you'll go down diagonally right by 2 with sea lanterns. And then do the same thing where you'll just place dark oak trapdoors off of the sides of them along with, you know, basically what's logical. You can try to cover the top if you want, like this or something. Or even open them up against like that. I don't particularly feel like it's that important. I didn't, but if you want, you can. That's what you should have, though. And then the back segment is another one that is, in fact, not doing that. You're going to be in line with almost the end of the Brawn pixel art. It's technically not because the tail will be the end, but it's like this portion right here. You'll place a nether brick fence 1 block in on either side of the ceiling. You'll also have 6 polished diorite behind you, if that's important. Again, place a sea lantern below either and connect them together, and then surround them in dark oak trapdoors on these sides. Not on the bottom or top, because, well, the top you can't do all of it, and the bottom defeats the entire purpose of making the lights. I mean, it'll still shine through, but you get the point. Alright, so I don't have particular numbers of spaces for this part. However, I'm going to kind of walk through these signs. On the right side, we'll start with this one because it's easier. On the red concrete in line with the middle of the doorway in front, you'll place a birch sign. Go down a line and type bay in all caps. And then go down another line and you'll type 09. Now, behind that, I'd place 2 spaces, it looks like. And it'll end up being almost in line. Maybe 1 is better. 1 might be better, yeah, that's a pixel off, whereas the other was 2 or 3 off. But it's up to you, just want them fairly close together. Like so. The other side is the more complicated one. You want a light blue concrete, or you want a sign on the same position on this doorway. On each of the first 3 lines, you want a, what is it, a backslash or a forward slash? I guess it'd be a, I don't know, it's a slash, that's the point. You want 3 of them anyway, 1 on each line. On the bottom line, you want to type stairway. I would start from the, not the top one, but 1 down, and behind it just place, 3 spaces, and you'll see it kind of looks like they line up properly. And then you'll go down another line, and behind it you'll place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe spaces, and then preferably not a 1, and you should end up with this, and it just looks like a stairway line. It's not perfect. I don't think you could get it perfect, though. I'm okay with it being like that. Nice. That wasn't actually as bad as I thought it was. I thought I had to play with that way more than I just did. But anyway, you want to, on the ceiling, the first area I'll actually tell you how to do because the first area is a little bit more specific. It's essentially starting from the front right-hand block. You're just breaking every other block in a checkerboard pattern of polished diorite. And you'll stop once you're on top of the archway, aka don't include that area, I guess would be the more important thing. I just messed up that last row. It won't be symmetrical, which is fine. You don't want it to be. And then on each of the remaining polished diorites, you'll place upside down polished diorite stairs facing backward. They can face forward if you want, but this is essentially how we create this ceiling. This is the only part that is particularly like that. Essentially, you're just going to go around punching holes. They can be next to each other or whatever. And just in front of them a block, you'll place an upside down stair facing backward. Something like this. And again, you kind of want these randomly wherever you want. I would just try to not have them too close so you don't have stairs kind of interfering with each other. If they're directly next to each other, that is okay. But you don't want one here and then one here because, well, I guess you could in theory. I guess just don't have a double hole. That's maybe important. But just kind of do whatever you want. I'm not going to go particularly crazy on this because this is just a random version of the build and it's not the actual official one, so it doesn't matter. But, you know, just do whatever. I probably wouldn't place one where I just placed that one right there. That's unfortunate. But oh well, it doesn't matter. And yeah, you just want a random assortment of these. More than I have. You want a lot of these, preferably. Will I show the original? Yeah, I can show the original. I might as well. Hey, look, it's me. So, essentially, here's kind of what I have. I guess it's not a ton of them, but it's still a good amount, for sure. Now we can head back. So yeah, there's always 1 done. I'd recommend, by the way, I just remembered this, on the outsides of the doors, just kind of blacking them off with really whatever. You could just use polished diorite if you have it still. Just something so you don't have the light shining through. Although if you don't care about that, then, you know, you don't. But I would also leave a block so it's not, the walls are not, you know, touching it or connecting. Nice, that was that like 25 minutes? We can start the next area. We might as well see if we can at least get like the main portion or this little kind of diagonal hallway done beyond this. So if you head through the doorway, you'll start by getting out red concrete, light blue concrete, smooth quartz blocks, wow, who would have guessed, yellow terracotta, cyan concrete, red concrete, stripped warped hyphae or stem, doesn't matter. Stripped mangrove wood or logs also doesn't matter. And we'll go... What will we go with? I'm not really sure. Oh, polished diorite, duh. That's an important one. So, head out of the hallway and look back towards the doorway here. You want to, from the kind of edges here, this final row, you'll place a light blue on the right and a red on the left. They're essentially just on the same side as it is over here, or in the other area. You'll then go diagonally out on either side by 9 with the same concrete, just kind of going out. So 1, 2, you get the point. Hate counting because I don't want to ruin your focus on counting. Also hate counting in general. So you should have this kind of triangle, I guess. It's a bad triangle, but it's a triangle nonetheless. You'll then just keep going out by 1, so I guess back by 1 if we're using that, or forward, whatever. And then from there it'll be on the on both sides, I guess, a cyan concrete. Extend the cyan in by 1, and then in with 2 polished diorite. And then a yellow terracotta. And then I guess in with 1 more, just because. Then you'll go back forward with a red or light blue, whatever side it should be. Left is light blue, red is, or right is red, sorry. And then you'll go diagonally, or, I love words. Forward diagonally in by 5. Just like this. The red you will essentially bring back by... Make sure that it's actually the same red, which it is. You'll go back by 3. Well, I guess you'll do the same on either side. Light blue, red with red. And then you'll go in by 1. So you kind of have this particular shape. It's a weird shape. You'll take the light blue and you'll go forward diagonally right with the cyan. Just kind of following the inner diagonal of light blue. And on the other side, you'll do yellow terracotta instead on the red side. And this time we can start by filling in the floor with polished diorite, I guess, rather than doing the walls up or although it doesn't particularly matter either way. When you're filling in, you do want to fill in this little box here, kind of in the middle, but I wouldn't fill in the doorway because I have it as dark oak on the original because of the next room, which will be dark oak. Well, it won't be the next room, I guess, but it's the next room in that direction. We'll end up doing the red path first, and then we'll do middle, and then we'll do left, because that is the order you go in the game, so that, I guess, makes the most sense. But yeah. I would also probably texture the floor right now, although I guess if you want to wait so we can bring up the walls, and that works too. Speaking of bringing up the walls, you can just bring all the red, light blue, or whatever other blocks up just by 1, except for obviously the polished diorite you're not really particularly dealing with or doing anything with at all. And then, yeah. This is such a, like, weird... I guess there are a lot of rooms and stuff in this build that are just weird, I don't know. Odd shapes or sizes or angles or whatever. There you go, you should have this. There are a couple other reds or light blues that we're going to bring up a little bit more. It's the ones closest to the archway here at the front and the last one on the diagonal. So it's like this one and then this one. Don't bring them up by anything yet, because you do want to in total end up bringing them up by 4. So including the one I already have. And they'll be as tall as that archway in the front and middle, I guess. Just like so. We can do the doorway in the middle, I guess. Get that one out of the way, and then we'll do the other one as well. There's actually one more diagonal we have to bring up, by the way. It's the one just kind of in front of the yellow on the sides here, the yellow terracotta. You can have this. They kind of line up diagonally, but they also don't perfectly. Not that I guess particularly matters at all. Let's start with the doorway in the middle, though, actually, for real this time. You'll take the cyan and yellow on either side and extend them up by 2, and then place a red concrete on top. Why do we have red concrete twice? Why did I do that? That's a really good question. I'm going to just get rid of that. Okay, is there anything else we can get out? Huh. I don't know. Not really. There's nothing else that is particularly important. I guess we could get out paintings or something. You'll then, anyway, connect the red concrete together here, and then place a row of yellow terracotta on top. The other sides are fairly similar, they're just a little bit different. You'll take the yellows and the cyans and just bring them each up by 1 this time instead of 2. You'll then place 2 rows of red concrete on top, where you'll connect the top across the center again. And then place a row of yellow terracotta on top. On the left side doorway, you have an area above here, and it will kind of be 5 blocks if you have this row on the left, but we're not really worried about that. You want along the top here just 2 2x2 paintings, and they should probably be the same. I have them as like the, looks like an angel or something on a stage. I'm not really sure. Somebody's reenacting a play. Oh, I just got it too, and I was not paying attention. Oh, I almost just broke it again. Anyway, it should look like this. That is only on that side because the other side is already unlocked. Anyway, from this point, you'll take each light blue or red concrete and just extend them up with 4 smooth quartz blocks. And then that'll be, I guess, the height of the hallway then. Can I? Aw, it's just too much. This is when the crab claw would be so very useful. I'll talk about connecting the doorway across in a second, by the way. The one, like, in the center in that little box. It's not important yet, though. Yeah, I think we'll finish this turn. This will be a little bit of a longer first part again, but I don't want to half do this all the way because, like, we're so close. Oh, God. You should have this. In that little center room, you'll just connect the top 2 smooth quartz rows together across the top. As you're filling in the ceiling here, you want to ignore that box. However, just a block above the walls, the full right side will be stripped mangrove facing front to back, and the full left will be stripped warped hyphae facing front to back. So essentially this is the divider right here. It is directly in the center, it will split. And again, you'll know if you're on the right side or not, because if you look at the walls, you'll have a base trim of the same color. I guess not the same block, because it's not going to happen. These are annoying to place. I'm not really going to particularly care about it being perfect, because whatever. I think I was a little bit more on the original. But I usually am. Not that anybody will really see it, nor that it matters. I guess sometimes I don't care, and then other times I do. It just really depends on what I'm building. And why I'm building it. But like in this situation, you're never going to see it, so who cares? Anyway, you should have this. Nice. I think that's all we can do with this set of materials. I, again, would recommend just texturing your floor a little bit. I'm not really going to try because, again, this is considered texturing for me, and that's just a lot of work. But I will throw a few of each block at least, just because, yeah. And then yellow. Yellow. There we go. Might want to also do in the center? Okay, well, I put 1 block. Crazy. You can then clear your inventory and get out red nether bricks. That's the wrong one. There we go. A creeper head. End rods. Dark oak trapdoors. Lantern. Bamboo signs. What else? Oh yeah, iron bars. Iron trapdoors, and I feel like that's it. I could be missing something obvious, but I don't think I am. Oh, gray concrete. I am missing something obvious. The ceiling in this little back area is just gray concrete. Again, a block above the walls. The height does not change, just the block changes. Like so. You have 2 center blocks here. You'll just take the rightmost or leftmost, I guess it doesn't matter, and you'll place a lantern. I did the rightmost, if it particularly is important. Above this doorway, you'll have 2 bamboo signs. You'll do the same thing on both, where you'll go down a line, and on the left, you'll type Elliot with 2 L's and 1 T, and then the other one will be Ludwig, which is the guy's name. Now, you probably would want these closer together, so I'm just going to put a bunch of spaces at the end of this one until it goes down a line, and then I'll stop. And then I'll do the same thing with the beginning of this one until it goes down, and then I'll have to remove one. Boop. There we go. I'm going to actually remove one, I think, from here. Why did that make it closer? What? Oh, I guess that is how that works. Never mind. I'm going to try to make it about the same, though. If I'm 2 pixels off, I'm basically 2 there, so that's good enough. Doesn't have to be perfect again, but I like it being perfect, so. On the left side, we have a couple things, and then we can do something on both sides. In the little doorway here, which will lead to, eventually, the game station room, you'll place iron bars just at the top there with iron trap doors below them. Following the, I guess, inner wall or the right wall diagonal on the first, just singular light blue, you'll place a dark oak trapdoor open up against the right of it. On the left side, you will, funnily enough, you'll actually take the polished diorite that dark oak trapdoor kind of sits on and just trace it forward and then break this polished diorite up against the wall and replace it with a red nether brick. And it will have a creeper head facing diagonally into the wall like so. That is, it's either Catbee or the, like, little green bot. I forget his name, but I use the creeper head as like green, yellow, and blue because there's nothing else called. I guess I've used the piglin head for yellow actually. Anyway, on both sides you're doing the same thing from this point. If you take the inner wall, you'll count to the third smooth quartz over and just trace it up. You'll then go forward diagonally out by 2 with end rods with dark oak trapdoors below them. And again, same thing on the other side, or in theory should be, so I will just confirm. Yeah, it's the third diagonal, and then 2 end rods with dark oak trapdoors. Still no texturing. The hallways on these sides do end up getting it, so if you really want to make it consistent in this room, I would just use like calcite, and same with this one here, starting from below the diorite, although you could go above if you wanted. This is kind of just like a weird space that's, for some reason here, I'm not really sure why the ceiling is the same as the walls. I guess they just were like, no one will notice. I don't really know. Anyway, once you've done that, ladies and gentlemen, that is part 1 of Chapter 2 complete. That's not bad progress overall. There's a lot more to go where that came from, though. Thank you guys if you guys did enjoy this video anyway. Have a fantastic rest of your day or night, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.